Andrew Perrie, welcome.
Good morning. I thought, this happens every time I come to Toronto. I think that the traffic's going to be so bad that I just show up like 5 hours early. So I've been in your parking lot since 5.
Oh, you should have come up. I was up here making
Were you?
coffee. Yeah, for sure. You're the second guest that I actually didn't have a background with or know. We had Eric Cleary on here last week, I guess it was. And he was my first guest that, wasn't from a network or friend or someone I've been working with for a long time. So welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Well, yeah, thanks, man. I noticed the dumbbells as well. They were all sold out during COVID, so I had to get the normal
that's exactly
ones.
when I bought it. That's, when I can't make it to the gym, I just do it here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long have you had this office then?
Super awkward when I start dropping them and grunting in here for the staff, but
And the people below you?
Yeah, and the people below me.
That's right.
How long have we been in the office?
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved in the fall of last year.
Yeah.
Before the build-out was finished. Right, so because we just said we need the room, we need the space, so we focused on getting the staff offices done first, and then we ended up working in here through the hammering and sawing of everything else. Because we built out a studio on this side. We'll show you afterwards, but we built out a studio and an agent side.
Nice.
On the far side here, so yeah, it was quite the experience.
Good. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, we did the same thing. When our building was getting done, we were just so excited, and we needed space because we had a little teeny office at our headquarters. It was literally maybe the size of this table, and by the time we had moved into Niagara-On-The-Lake, like our team had kind of blown up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we were kind of working through construction too.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same reason for us. We were down at so when we launched the brand into Canada, March 19th of 2020. People are going to get sick of hearing me say that, but right at the beginning of COVID, when it all shut down, and we had a small office at Bedford and Davenport, but we went from 50 agents to 160 agents overnight.
Holy smokes!
And it was just so we staff build up and marketing team, the deal processing team, administration. So we needed a bigger space, and so we leaped into this.
Nice. So
where is your office? Are you right in Niagara?
Yeah, so we're Niagara-on-the-Lake, right on 4 Mile Creek Road. We also have another office in Muskoka as well.
Nice.
So, and then with any luck, I know I keep saying this on these interviews that I've been doing over the last few weeks. I'm trying not to jinx myself, but we should have another location released by the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough time to taking the leap for new locations, but
you know what?
If you're able to do it, that's great.
It is, and it's not, because the way we've built our business, we've had our best year.
Good.
So the downtimes for us are the good times, because what I find, I just actually was talking to somebody outside in your parking lot, by the way, and we're kind of just chatting, and I think the biggest thing that I've noticed about realtors is that they consider themselves more of a service, more of a commodity than an actual business owner, or they don't, like, when everybody asks me,
you're preaching to the choir.
What do you do? I never say, oh, I'm a realtor. I say, I own a real estate company. And I think if we had that mindset, that trickles down into everything we do. It affects how we talk to people, how we pitch ourselves to new leads, and where everybody else was fumbling and figuring out what to do in terms of where do we get new business. We've always known where to get new business, and that's just from building relationships. I know that's a very fluffy thing to say. Everybody says, oh, be authentic, and let's create great long-lasting relationships. But if you actually know how to help people in a personal way, and you understand on where to meet people on a day-to-day basis other than online. I'm a big social media guy, but if I had poured everything into social media, my business would be ruined.
It's a combination, right? It's I always use the line that I've had agents say, "Oh, I'm never sending out a mailer, a direct mail piece again. I did it once and I didn't get anything from it."
Yeah,
you're dead in the water if that's your thought process, right? It's about all kinds of different avenues of brand recognition. And like you said, it's not about just digital focus.
No.
Right? You're dead in the water if it's just digital focus.
Yeah.
It's about building relationships, being out there in the community, having your face known, shaking hands, right? It's a combination of everything.
I agree. And it's, we talk about this a lot too, is it's about how you answer your phone. How many rings does it take for you to actually answer your phone? I've scared people They'd call me at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning. What? You answered your phone? It's Saturday. I was not expecting that. I was going to leave a voicemail. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why would you, call, somebody for real estate service and not expect somebody to answer? And I just think it's kind of the way society's been ingrained with how, realtors kind of act on a day-to-day basis. I think that's changing, by the way, but.
Yeah, I think there are some entrepreneurs getting into this business, and I think the market that we're in now, you're going to see a lot of those that don't treat this like a business fall into the wayside, and you hit it, right? I personally believe, and I'm going to bruise a lot of egos here right now, but if you look at almost every realtor out there, on their Instagram handles, and they have entrepreneur in their profile, I know about 5% of the realtors that are entrepreneurs. 95% of them, like you said, are providing a service. They're trying to reach a salary every year. They're not running a business.
That's right. But I mean, and I know this, and I can speak confidently in it, is because I was that guy. I was that guy.
So tell me, let's start there then. Tell me about that. Tell me about your learning process to get to being the entrepreneur that you are now.
Well, you know what? The difference, though, here's the difference, is that when people use the words or the term fake it till you make it, there's truth in it until you make it. It's not just about pretending to be somebody else. It's about finding that alter ego within yourself on, okay, so what would an entrepreneur running a $100 million business, what would they do if they were in my shoes? How would they get started? How would they grow? How would they learn? How would they implement? How would they answer the phone? What morning routines? And until you have that, and I try to relate it to like how a lawyer will go to school, a doctor will go to school. Yes, realtors go to school too, but where as entrepreneurs, we have to go to school every single day. That learning never stops. And so how do you know if you're a true entrepreneur if you haven't really started yet? And so that's how I tell my agents, is to get yourself into that zone of what would Mark Cuban do? What would Elon Musk do? And then you start laying out the framework and start walking a mile in their shoes. But you're not going to be an Elon Musk from the very beginning. So that's why I fake it till you make it has truth. However, there's a big difference in pretending. So I was that guy, and I just didn't really know. I knew that it's like I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast this morning driving up. He said, there's a difference with how people grow up and how it affects people. So for example, he was saying, this one guy, his guest, lived on a park bench when he was 18 for 2 weeks. The reason why he didn't stay there is because he always knew he was never going to stay there. This was just something that he had to deal with at the time in order to move on. And so when I think about that, it's like, okay, if I put entrepreneur or CEO in my bio, that means that that's something that's going to come true. And so we'll call it affirmations, call it The Secret, the book The Secret.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where whatever you put out into the world affirmations, put out your energy, you put out your commitments, you have to follow through with them, because if you don't, society's or karma, whatever you want to call it, it's going to kick it right back in your face. The universe is going to reward you for the good that you put into it.
I couldn't agree more. It's energy is real. It really is. And when you surround yourself with the wrong people, that's who you're going to be. Right?
I agree.
If you want to know where you're going, look at the people that you surround yourself with on a day in and day in basis.
That's right.
Right? It's a real thing.
Yeah. I started last year, January. Every morning, 5 a.m., emailing my team, motivational, tactical scripts, and always a YouTube video to accompany it. And I've been, I've been sick, I've been hungover, I've missed a few things, but been sober for almost 40 days now, by the way. So, thanks. So it's just one of those things. I realized that, you gotta. When you're operating at this level, you can't have anything put you down here. So what I've noticed is that I've been maintaining this level of encouragement for my entire team. And as I've been going, I've been learning more about myself and learning more about how to visualize and structure things in your head that has made a massive difference into my business. Because the business, I always just thought, hey, put your head down, work as hard as you can, don't take your foot off the gas, that kind of rah crap. What I realized is that growing up, when I said, hey, I don't want to see any of that Tony Robbins motivational crap. And then once you get to a certain level in your business, you start realizing that, okay, you do need these mindset motivational shifts to really break out, and the energy is real. So why I'm going on this rant is that I stopped looking at things in terms of surrounding yourself with the top 5 people. Absolutely, I agree with that. That's what I'm always on a search for. That's why I do things like this. But then I also try to point out, it's like, okay, envision people who aren't doing well in your industry. Try not to focus on the negative, but envision what happens when they start going down and the people that they start attracting to them as well. And I provide a few examples, and you can always see it. The people that are going for beers for lunch, the people that are going on all these retreats, not the high-end spiritual ones, but they're just going to conferences to get drunk. I was that guy. I know exactly what it was like, and I took nothing away. And it's just one of those things where it's, if you can step back and look at those two groups of people, which one do you want to be involved with?
Yeah, for sure. So let's focus on your team for a bit here. Tell me about the demographics on your team, the makeup of your team. I know you're doing some interesting things, expanding the team as far as not necessarily just in your market, but outside your market. So start with the demographics of your team. What's your team look like?
So we have 15 total people. We have our director of ops, our VP of sales. We just transitioned into a department leader for listings only. So we're constantly evolving. We have our, marketing coordinator, deals coordinator, Gracie, and then with the rest of our agents spread across Niagara and Muskoka.
The deals coordinator. What's the deals coordinator doing?
So basically, we have everything. Although we're with Revel and they have their own deals, administrators, all that, internally we have our own as well. It just makes more sense. So
liaison between the deal processing at Revel and you guys.
Absolutely. And we also have systems in place. For example, every time you do a deal, it gets accepted, you have to use our team fill-out form, breaking down everything, uploading all the documents, where did the lead come from, what's the split, etc. And then that way we can process everything effectively. So nothing gets dropped.
That's great. It's there's a lot of people starting teams right now, and a lot of people that shouldn't be, right? They're taking a percentage and handing out some leads, but not providing that type of service, and that's invaluable on a team, right?
Well, yeah, and you know what? It's great that our brokerage and most brokerages do provide that service, but when you get to a level that our team is doing on a production standpoint,
you want to keep track of it all.
Exactly, absolutely.
No, not only that, when you have a team working your business, working your leads, you need infrastructure to stay on top of that.
Of course.
You're spending money and your name and reputation
of course
on those leads. You want to make sure those leads are being handled properly.
I agree.
So tell me about that follow-up. How you following leads and nurturing them?
That's a great segue because, for example, again, most brokerages I'm finding are providing KV Core. I'll be honest, KV Core for a solo agent, amazing, perfect. But for a team,
it's hard. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And just the customer stand. I'm not shitting on them, but follow up us. That's where it is. So we invest that with all of our teams. It's about $1,000 a month. Sucks that I got to pay $12,000 just to organize our clients, but it's the only way. And that $12,000 comes back exponentially when we're able to effectively follow up and create these campaigns and touch points within our team. But now you asked, how do we stay on top of it? So for one, we've designed that for them and we give it out to them. 2, we have an 8 a.m. check-in and a 4 p.m. check-in every single day. So for example, I'll use Serena as a great example. It's also her birthday today. I know the podcast won't come out today, but Serena says, this is perfect, 75 calls in follow-up boss. 20 connections or conversations, 3 appointments booked. Now that's how you do a check-in.
Yeah.
And so, of course, in a perfect world, we just accept those numbers and everything's great and we sell. But a good leader inspects what they expect. So what we do is when they send that information, our director of ops will then go through that follow-up boss, the CRM, and just see, did they actually make those calls? Did they actually book those appointments? And what do the notes say? So we have somebody checking that every single day.
That's great. Now, what about the age groups of your team as far as experience is concerned? Do you have some new agents on there, some mixture of senior?
We have everybody from 19, 20 years old to, God, don't kill me, Scott and Ellen, mid-50s. Yeah. So we have when we come in with our seller's guide, we break it down for absolutely every single person. I go through everybody, and I say, this is Max. He's young. He's a millennial. He's got a handle on the investment sector. This is Vanessa. She's a millennial as well. She has a really good focus and handle on social media. This is Maria. She's amazing with the 55 plus community. This is Scott and Ellen. They have a wide variety of experiences from development, from residential, but also, trailer parks and recreational properties. So we literally break down every single person in their experiences. So we got brand new to people who've been in the business 15 years.
No, it's funny. I think a lot of older people in the business, even myself included back in the day, we like to poke fun at the millennials and the zennials, right? But I think as leaders, it's important to learn how to work with these generations, right? They're very different. But not necessarily in a bad way, right? There's a lot of really good aspects of these generations and what they're able to accomplish. But again, as a leader, you have to figure out how to motivate them. There's a little bit of I find difficulty in the requirement for instant gratification. So how you navigate in that? Because when you are dealing with digital leads, which you are, I'm sure there's a good mixture for you. But when you are dealing with digital leads, there's no instant gratification. No. It's about building a pipeline and nurturing that pipeline. Yeah. So how do you coach them on that?
Well, first things first is when they do a deal and they've sniffed a little bit of a paycheck, is to really ensure that their feet or their foot does not get taken off the gas, right? So the biggest problem that I find most agents have is they'll get their paycheck and they're like, oh, wow. And they don't visualize how long or consider, number one, how long did it actually take you to meet this person? How long did it take you to convert them into an appointment? And then after X amount of showings, how long did it take them to actually make a deal? From there, how long did it close? Okay, so that might have taken 90 to 120 days.
Plus, at the time, none of them think about taxes.
Oh, yeah. At the time. That too. So now I ask them, can you go another 120 days without a paycheck? Well, of course not. There you go. So that's the motivation to continue working. As soon as you've made that connection, you got to refill that pipeline. That pipeline has to be an ongoing thing, a consistent daily piece of your routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. What were you going to say?
Well, it's easier said than done, right? But that's why you have to attract the right people. You can't just start hiring a whole bunch of people, random ages, random experiences, without discussing these types of things first. So how do we keep them motivated? Honestly, it's a mix of everything. We share our wins every single Monday. We have our collaborative group spaces. We have our daily check-ins. All of these things in a collaborative effort to keep them pushing to want to compete with one another in a very friendly way. And it's more about competing with themselves at the end of the day, because we do book assignments, we do book clubs, we review each single chapter together, we review all of our training together, we do coaching every week as well. So it's that ongoing effort that we put in that forces them to put an ongoing effort into their business as well.
Do you have a competitive aspect to the team? Do you have competition within the team?
You know what? I used to work for a company.
Healthy competition, I mean?
Well, I used to work for a company called LA Fitness, and we did all that stuff. We loved it. I loved it. It's like a video game, where you want to just keep pushing, or Tough Mudder. You want to make sure that you beat last year's run. Mm-hmm. And we implemented it, didn't really work so well. So what we started to do was more of, I wouldn't call it a competition, so that if you're going head to head with somebody, you've won and they've lost. It's a threshold, and whoever gets there gets the same incentive. The difference is that we do an incentive program that is designed to make you better. So it's not like, here's a spa package. Thanks for selling 5 deals this month. Here's a spa package. You sold 5 deals this month. Here's an hour with my business coach. You sold, 50 deals this year. Here's your own business coach for the entire year.
Yeah, that's great.
And if your numbers start slipping, then we'll take the coach away.
What coaches are you using? What are your...
Mary Ann Gillespie
Okay.
from Red Apple Coaching.
Okay. What's her philosophy? How does she...
She's a no bullshit kind of person. She reminds me of my senior vice president, Mike Rickert from LA Fitness. It's what gets measured gets improved. What you focus on expands, and what you inspect, what you expect. So all of those aspects of being a team leader, not taking any excuses, reasons or results, and it's just a non-bullshit atmosphere. And that's the way I like it. She's made people cry. I'll just say that right now. But I love it because it breaks the old perceptions that they've had of themselves. And I have to step in and say, look, I'm glad you're feeling this way, because now it means that you can evolve.
Exactly. I love it.
Evolve. Sorry, not involve. And the reason why I like that so much is because, we have a team of mostly women. And I'm not saying anything, but it is a little bit more difficult in my experience for a woman to hear that type of straight up bullshit kind of attitude, especially from another woman higher up.
I've had the complete opposite experience.
Of course.
I think guys are worse at handling that type of criticism.
Well,
I watch guys break down way quicker than
right.
women.
But here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, because women will bounce back faster.
Yeah.
Men will be all depressed for a little bit and be like, "Oh shit, I don't want to talk to this person next week." That's right, exactly. And but all the women on my team are like, "Damn right, okay." Look, at first it was a little bit hurtful hearing these things, but now I understand it and I know exactly what to do to implement.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so your team gets access to these coaches as well?
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what about you, as far as you have a lot going on? So how's your team access to, how's the access to you for the team members?
That's a great question. So we haven't really talked about what our plans are, but for January, another piece of the incentive program will be access to me. Right now, everybody has a fairly flexible, what's the word I'm looking for? Access to myself on an ongoing basis, which is great, but it's the reason why we have people in the positions that we have, to kind of not act as gatekeepers, but to answer those low-level questions on an ongoing basis for a faster response. And so,
Be everywhere and everything to everybody.
Exactly. But honestly, at the root of it all is because the people that are in the positions are better at what they train than I do.
That's why you picked them.
Exactly. And that's another thing that I don't understand about a lot of team leaders as well, is that they have a very hard time, setting roles for different people that are otherwise better at it than them.
TV show.
Yeah.
You have a TV show in the works.
So
how much can you talk about that?
So what's interesting is that we developed the pilot last year, and we pitched it to a couple of networks. The idea of it made really cool sense. It was more of a travel show. The difference between Muskoka and Niagara-on-the-Lake, and the lifestyles that they provide from a real estate standpoint. So the reason why it didn't really take off was because, in order to get a show picked up, you can't really use town names unless it's New York or LA, right? Where
it would work locally, but not necessarily.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when the goal is always to get it to the U.S., right? So we did that. We loved it. We had a good time, and we're currently developing it further. However, what that led to was an opportunity to work with an international television show. And we just wrapped up last week on our final episode. So that will be coming out next spring.
Nice. Can you say what network?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't. I also can't say the show name, but what I can say is that it was kind of similar to our pilot. So it was about, showing off the lifestyle of these luxury properties all around Ontario, which you'll never know that it's in Ontario because we don't say names.
Yeah. I think Muskokas would actually resonate down south, though, Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of exposure
Yeah.
up there, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
From what I hear, I heard Americans only thought there was like one lake in Canada.
Yeah. What do we have? Like 60% of the world's fresh water.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
some massive number. And what will that entail, this show? Where do you think that will go? How much time commitment is that going to be for you?
You know what? It's wrapped up now, so the time commitment's gone. We spent 3 days per episode, and I was how many
That's a
we
big
did?
time. How many
Yeah,
episodes?
it's 2 or 3. Yeah. They asked me for a third, but it was a little time consuming, which I'm happy to
bet.
do. But we also had to scout for properties too, right? So that took some time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? What I intend to use it for is just another opportunity that I have under my belt to learn. For example, I volunteered to do reporting for our local Cogeco.
Yeah, Cameron was mentioning that. Tell me about that.
So I did that for 2 years. They still send me, requests to do it.
Is it real estate focused reporting? Or
No. One was the Tim Hortons Smile Cookie.
Okay.
The reason why I love doing it is because they're like, okay, Andrew, let's write out a list of questions. And I'm like, no, you know what? Let me improv. Let me learn about it and then ask questions as we go. And they loved it. I loved it. It was great because you get to think on your feet. You get to meet new people.
Brand building as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, how many people knew I was a realtor? Actually, probably none. But at the same time,
they're
like
seeing
I
on the
said,
billboard
it gets
saying, that's a small cookie guy.
yeah.
Right.
Well, but it gets you into those situations. So when something bigger comes, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is that not only do you have to be open to opportunities, but you also have to be ready for them, which is completely different. And so what I intend to use it as is leverage for my next venture to, when we get this pilot redone, to pitch and say, look, here's my on-camera profile. And why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why do I want a TV show? I'm telling you this. For one, I've always wanted to be an actor. I was in the music industry. I was with Universal Records, an offshoot called Class 21 here in Toronto. And I've always loved that. But what I've noticed now is that where I want to take the company in 5 to 10 years, which is international, these types of things act as a business card. When it's the same thing when people in the business space would write books. Yes, okay, it's to share their knowledge, make some sales, but the best opportunity that a book provides is it's the best billboard, it's the best business card that you can ever make for yourself. And that's how I envision it working for our company.
Now, when you say your company, you're referring to your team, correct?
The Fine Estates team, that's right.
The Fine Estates team.
Yep.
So the Fine Estates team is located at Revel, and
Yeah.
you're also on the
Yeah.
recruiting side for Revel or
Yes.
for the Fine Estates team?
For both.
Revel,
I recruit for everybody. One thing that, people get to know me and they understand, if you're my friend and you have provided value to me, or let's just say you're a lead generation company and I've seen amazing results, I'm the best recruiter you have. I've sent referrals to everybody for a wide variety. It's just in my blood. I love to connect people who need connecting.
And that's who does well in this business, right? Like, this is a relationship business.
I
the
agree.
whole lone wolf mentality is just, I think it's gone. It's dead. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, they're a dying breed, and teams or just collaborative networks of agents. I think you've done this well on the estates team, according to Cameron, but a lot of your business is coming from referrals that are not even at Revel or on the estates team.
That's right.
Right.
The funny thing is, you'll have Remax, Royal LePage, like private groups that are asking for somebody in Muskoka or Niagara-on-the-Lake, and people will tag me, even though it's a Remax only group.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just how much power providing amazing value has.
That's great. Yeah.
So, anyways, but no, I am the official director of recruitment for Revel as well.
So tell me about the Revel platform. I don't know much.
Okay,
right
so
now,
Revel's amazing, and I'll explain why the word innovation comes up a lot with Revel. When you look at Revel and you break it down, on the surface, it's a traditional brokerage. You have splits, you have offices, you have opportunities, you have training, there's technology provided, but what you don't really see, well, most people do because we promote it very heavily, but it's a mix of not only culture and team, but it's also the growth opportunities that they provide. So where I'm going with this is that for people that are interested in the business like I am, Revel's a no-brainer, because as we grow, we need people to help fill in the gaps of all the positions that we need and require for that growth. So for example, where else would anybody at any brokerage be able to open their own office within being in business 2 years? So they see you. It's a family-run business. They have a large backing of corporate structures. They'll see what your idea is, and they'll help you implement it. Whereas what I have found traditionally, this is very generally speaking, by the way, is that most other brokerages don't provide those same opportunities. I asked my old brokerage, which was a big brand brokerage in my first year, I want to do an office. They said, no, you can't. Our territory's here. Okay, fair enough. So I got into real estate never to be a realtor. That's how I gained my experience, but that's not my end goal. And Revel helps people like me provide that. So if you're a team leader, or maybe you just want to open an office, we make it incredibly easy for you, right? So if you're a new realtor, we have mentorships for 12 months. We provide you all the training that you need, one-on-one. This is an actual program that we designed called Revel Ed. So it's not just like, hey, yeah, come to us. We have training and mentorship, and you can shadow some of the top people in the office. You go contact the top people. They're like, sorry, I'm busy. What the hell are you doing here? We have our mentors paid per deal for an entire month, for an entire 12-month period to make sure that our rookies succeed. That's why we have a low retention. That's why our average deal per agent is
high retention. I think you mean.
What did I say?
Low.
Yes, a high retention, and that's why our agents will do an average of 8 deals, while the average Ontario agent only does 3. Yeah, we had 4 of the last 5 rookies of the year on our board. I was the one who lost, by the way, but I did win number 1 on social media, so I guess it makes up for it. But so that just goes to show you that we produce very, very high quality realtors. And it's because of the culture and the growth opportunities. And like I said, if you want to open your own office, Revel provides you that flexibility with the playbook right there, with easy to implement financial options as well. So that means is that you can pay them X amount per deal, or X amount percentage-wise, whatever you like, to process all your deals for you. So you don't have to hire somebody right in your office, which is great.
That's great. I agree with you. I really do. I think it's ease for agents to open up offices is a good thing for the brokerages of today. The idea of bricks and mortar in every region and every neighborhood for brokerages is unattainable. It's not feasible anymore. No. Right? So allowing agents to do so, and we do allow agents to do the same, but we're probably a little bit, I wouldn't say as lenient with it as the way you described. Because the last thing is I want someone to do that's inexperienced in running an actual business office is to fail, right? It's going to be bad for them. It's going to be bad for us. You don't want the brand having plywood on the front of the store the next day.
That was a fun 3 months.
So yeah, no, I do agree with you. I think we're just a little bit stricter on it.
Yeah, we definitely have requirements, 100%. So actually, when you get down to the nitty gritty into our actual contracts, there is some requirements. For example, even our mentors, you have to be selling $150,000 and you have to be in the business 3 years minimum. So this isn't just somebody who parks their license. This isn't somebody who's on a paid salary. You're learning from literally the best people in your market. Yeah.
So tell me about what's in it for them. What's the mentorship program look like for the mentor itself?
Well, like I said, they get paid per deal.
Per deal, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So every deal that agent does. And so if that agent also has to share the contracts with their mentor to check over before they get sent to the client. Yeah,
that's the way we did it as well, is taking it off deals as opposed to upfront capital, right?
Well, yeah, and because look at the real estate industry, most deals happen after 5 p.m. So if you're just a salaried person, what's your motivation to answer the phone at 6 when you're eating dinner with your kids, right?
For sure.
So I'm not saying that money incentivizes people, but it does. And, we've built a culture around the fact that, honestly, you can call most of our realtors at Revel anytime and they'll answer.
Nice. What about the Revel platform as far as service and support to the agents, like business development support, systems,
So we were actually one of the first brokerages that I know of in Ontario, because I did a lot of research in my role, that actually offered an in-house marketing platform that was all completely done digitally. revelmedia.ca. Book your in-house photography sessions. Book your in-house marketing design. This is not a third party. We didn't bring in a third party. We hired somebody from a corporate standpoint that knew our brand, knew the future of where real estate and branding was going, and understands your brand. So this isn't just somebody, that you're paying on Fiverr. This isn't just some rinky-dinky marketing company. This is somebody who's working with us every single day.
Nice.
So go to revelmedia.ca and you can actually book your listing video right then and there. You can add on floor plans. You can add on Twilights. You can add on Instagram Reels, all from that program. Gets booked into your calendar and the videographer's calendar, so nobody ever misses anything. You don't have to pick up the phone and call. It's all done for you. And not to mention, we have 365 pieces of content on our Revel Drive, listing presentations, buyer presentations, all accessible for free. If you want to customize it, you have to pay a little bit, but it's very, very minimal.
And I know your team's using Follow Up Boss, but does Revel have a CRM platform for the agencies?
Yeah, they use KV Core.
Okay.
They use KV Core. And then, like I said, when they first implemented it, I loved it because you can actually advertise directly through KV Core, and all the AI campaigns, all the measurable, what do you call them, like KPIs, like all the actual metrics are easily laid out for you. When I got to a team standpoint, I really just needed something a little more robust.
Yeah, we Berkshire provides us with KV Core, like Berkshire, the US.
Yep.
But we don't use it here in Ontario. We have our own. We use Chime platform.
Yeah, Chime's good too.
Yeah.
See, but that's the thing. We have Kate Broddick, the number one team since 2015, operating on a very high level on KV Core. So who am I, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Depends on the way you run your things, right?
They do 50, 60 deals a month. So if they're killing it as a team, then you know what? Any team could utilize it.
Depends on the way you run your business. What about Revel? What's Revel's plan? Where are we heading with Revel in the next 5 years?
Yeah. That's the good thing about Revel, is that nothing's off the table. So without speaking for Ryan and Nikki, of course, I would personally see Revel in multiple provinces and multiple states. That's what I see. And you know what? I'm fully supportive of that. And with any luck, I'll be the first one to open in a new province or state.
What province? Where do you want to go?
I'd probably go to Alberta.
Okay.
I'd probably go to Nova Scotia. My son was born in Alberta. My family's from Nova Scotia.
Where in Nova Scotia?
Dartmouth.
Okay, I'm Cape Breton.
Oh yeah, nice.
I grew up in Glace Bay.
Yeah, because my family's a military family.
Okay.
My granddad, and my mom grew up. She moved 36 times before she was 35. Right, so
military families.
Absolutely,
Stuff,
and that's where my grandparents met. Was in Halifax and Dartmouth. So I would go there, but I think what's really on my eye first is Florida. Just the logistics of setting up the brokerage there. It just will take some time. But
it's easy. It's such a transient, right?
You're in the same time zone, right? It's so easy.
Easy
and all of my clients, because we're in Niagara-On-The-Lake, Muskoka, majority of my clients are 55 plus, and majority of them are in the cottage country for the summer.
Yeah.
They're in Niagara-on-the-Lake for their residential needs, and then they're in Florida for the winter.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Who have been some of your biggest influences in the business?
It's a good question. I gave this guy a massive shout out the last time somebody asked me that. Chris Knighton from Keller Williams. Okay. I talked to him. Oh, this is so weird. I talked to him while I was in the shower this morning on my watch because he texted me. He's a great guy, always willing to help. Ryan Saravelli from Revel. If I didn't find any type of value in him being my mentor, I would have never switched brokerages. His influence on me has been incredibly impactful. Amy Youngren from the North Group, chat with her a lot.
She's done a great job.
She's amazing, and she's done what I've wanted to do. Like, she's in the same boat. She doesn't want to.
How long have you been in the business?
7 years. 7 years,
yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Right? Ibrahim from EXP Affinity. He's just blown up. He's a guy that is doing exactly what I want to do right now in real time. So I'm loving his journey and I'm loving watching it. However, I'd have to give my hat to Mark Ferris and Thomas Ferris from up there in Barrie. He's in Florida now because I grew up with those boys. I'm from Barrie. I'm from Innisfil.
Okay.
And they were the guys that I consulted before even getting my license.
Yeah, Mark's done a great job. He was in here, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks ago, presenting the Florida opportunities to the agents and stuff.
Yeah, good guy. Guy. And it's so cool because, I grew up with hundreds of acres of farm all around me. And, I played hockey in his barn. And so just to watch, a good small town guy like that become who he is, it's so empowering. Yeah,
no, he's definitely a big inspiration. Okay, getting into the tough questions now. For some reason, everybody gets stressed about these ones, but what's your favorite area of the Niagara region?
Well,
top two favorite areas.
Niagara-on-the-Lake, easy. Number one, because there's so much to do from a community standpoint. It's a very lifestyle-driven town where everybody's playing hockey. You know everybody. You see them at the Tim Hortons. You see them at the rink. You see them at every other single event that the community puts on, and you get to know people. The families all know each other. All the kids hang out, and it's fantastic. Go to wineries. People love coming there. So, like, when people want to visit you, they always call you, and it's easy. It was so easy for me to build a brand there because all I had to do is, hey, everybody, I live in Niagara-on-the-Lake. I can give you the best idea. I literally wrote the book. We wrote a book. It just hit #1 on Amazon. Niagara, a wine lover's guide. So every time somebody comes to visit,
who's we?
Me and my dad.
Oh, nice.
My dad, Bill Perrie. So that was fun. And then my second would be, there's like this. It's a region called West Lincoln. So it's got Waynfleet, it's got Smithville, it's got Pelham, and it's where about 4 towns kind of touch each other.
Font Hill's in there.
Font Hill's there, Font Hill's a little closer to the 406. So Pelham's just a little more west.
I like the little pocket there, Font Hill.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful. And the reason why I like that is because it reminds me of home. It's rolling hills, all farm country, and you actually get snow. In Niagara-on-the-Lake, you don't get snow. So a guy who grew up in Barrie that, had a snowmobile, like to tow behind it with my snowboard, you can't really do that in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And Waynfleet and all those other towns out west, they provide that. And it's just so beautiful. You get to see cows, Holstein farms. It's just kind of how I grew up. It's very homey.
It's great. And then what about restaurants? Top 2 restaurants in the Niagara region?
Oh, man. Old Winery is where you go if you want to have a nice pasta, nice dinner, dress up. And then Sand Trap, which is my local pub. So I love every Friday we get our pizza and wings from there.
Have you been to Promer site yet?
Somebody said that to me. I'm like, what the hell is that? I think I drove by it the other day. I think it's right beside Royal Page.
Yeah, I haven't been, but everybody's raving about it.
Yeah,
it's been in business for a few years now, but
it's
still very, like, you have to book, I think, 3 months in advance.
Yeah. You know what? We do Treadwells, which is right across the street. I love it too.
Nice, that's great. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and having you on here. And where can people find you?
It's just, at the Andrew Perrie on Instagram. I look at my request in my general files, and I always follow back.
That's great. Thanks for coming on board.
Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy. I appreciate it.